Well, greetings, consciousness, welcome back. The reason I'm making this video this evening is because I was hoping that the video that I posted earlier would have been a nice video for you to enjoy over the weekend, since we have talked about Yeshua and Jesus in terms of this typology stuff, because in that video they mentioned how they created Jesus from the Old Testament, through typology. And that's why I shared it. But obviously, as I was driving down the road, I had a comment saying, a couple of you were commenting saying you couldn't watch it because, I don't know what happened, but something went down that I wasn't sure about, because I know the video fully played the last time I shared it. And I have a copy of it, so I know it played very well. So anyway, let's not get into that. So in this video, we're talking about, did God lie about the promised land to the children of Israel? And so we're going to start this with Genesis 15 and verse 18. Genesis 15, 1:5, verse 18, 1:8. Because a covenant was made between Abraham and God, promising Abraham of a land that his descendants will one day will inherit. And so when we fast forward this covenant or this promise to Exodus chapter 3 and verse 17. Exodus chapter 3 verse 17. We come to find out Moses obviously also confirms this promise is also made to Moses about being given a land flowing with milk and honey. Now obviously we know that Yeshua, whom we call Joshua, is the one that succeeded Moses. And so Yeshua has taken them into the promised land. And then he talks about, remember the covenant that God made, or Yahuwah made with Moses, that I will give you rest. Now you have to remember the word rest, because these children, or the Israelites, allegedly had, and I say allegedly because we, the Africans, obviously have no record of this event taking place in Africa. As far as people exiting Egypt, there's no record. Even if books were destroyed, people still keep records where they can share orally. But in the whole continent of Africa, there's no such a thing in Africa anywhere where someone will tell you that there was a story once in Egypt where Israelites exited. It's not there, but it's in the book, so we're going to leave it there. But the word rest means they had wandered for 40 years. Now, if you've wandered looking for a place for 40 years, there is something wrong with you. And so, Joshua reaffirms the rest that was promised to these Israelites, that they will come to a place of rest. And so, now we've linked Yeshua with Jesus. Jesus also comes along. Jesus, obviously some people still call him Yeshua. He comes along and he says, all you who are weary and burdened, come to me and I'll give you rest. So again, this is from the Old Testament, what Yeshua said in Joshua 1 verse 13, to be precise. Joshua 1 verse 13. You see, so this rest thing comes from the Old Testament. All you who are weary and burdened, come to me and I'll give you rest. Because Joshua, or Yeshua of the Old Testament, is the one that gave the people rest after their so-called journey from Egypt, allegedly, you see. And so, we have to understand, this rest is where the Sabbath also came from, because you do your labor 7 days a week and you get a Sabbath, the seventh day you rest. And so because the Bible obviously teaches that because Yahuwah had brought the people out of Egypt after from their toil, he had to give them rest into a promised land. Now the book makes it clear that these people got there without Moses. But there is no mention about this land flowing with milk and honey till this day. nobody has been able to teach or say anything about this land. And so I'm asking, in Exodus 3:17, when Moses talked about this land flowing with milk and honey, how come till this day nobody has found it anywhere in the earth? Yeshua, whom we call Joshua, obviously did not mention it in the book of Joshua 1:13. He never mentioned it about how they got there and the milk was flowing and honey was flowing in the land. Nobody, in fact, even dares to mention this stuff, because it's literally impossible for land to flow with milk and honey. We do have oil in the earth, but nobody has ever seen honey flowing on the earth or milk. And so what's this promise? A lie. But you see, when you come to mysticism, the mystics have always taught that in meditation, when one goes through the 6 chakras, on the 7th chakra, when you're able to activate the 7th, which is one of the most difficult chakras. In fact, in the earth today, I don't know any mystic or yogi that has been able to activate the 7th chakra. I don't know of one. I've never seen any book or anyone talking about this type of stuff anywhere in the earth, because it could be because we've been eating the wrong foods. But the teaching was, when you're able to open the 7th chakra, then you enter a state of ecstasy, where one feels the presence of the universe or Atum or God. There's this ecstatic feeling that one feels within themselves. You see, because the land flowing with milk and honey, in meditation, this type of stuff was referred to as melatonin and serotonin, which is secreted in the brain. You see, that is why nobody has been able to find this stuff. And so when you read the Bible literally, then you have to be able to prove where the people discovered this land flowed with milk and honey. And also, you have to also observe the Sabbath, because Sabbath or the Shabbat means rest. If you are weary and burdened, then in meditation, you enter a state of rest, because the mind bombards you with a lot of thoughts. And so even if you haven't been able to activate the 7th chakra, which is called the crown chakra, then even in meditation itself, you give yourself rest when you stop the mental activities. You see, this is why I say you can't read the Bible literally. It is not a book for you to pick up and read literally. If you read it literally, it's very confusing. This is why the ministers of the literal interpretation, they struggle, because there are stuff in there you cannot literally explain to congregation or your congregation. You see, for example, if you go to Judges 16, this is about the story about Samson. Now it starts off Samson going into a prostitute to spend the night. You see, now this Bible is supposed to be about your salvation. You have to ask yourself, why would Samson, a guy that's promised to come and save his people, a whole savior, why would he start Judges 16 verse 1 with Samson going to spend the night with a prostitute? It does not make any sense if you read the book literally. Why does the man's sexual affair has anything to do with us? Why is the author writing in a book of God that Samson, the savior, went and slept with a prostitute? But there's a different meaning to that. That's why I say to people, don't read the book literally, or you'll be very confused, you see. And I had a question last night, and this young man is not the first one, in fact. And he wanted to know, is wet dreams demonic? And many of you have talked about this type of stuff. I've had conversations with many young people about this type of stuff. You know who you are. I don't normally put people on blast on social media, but we're going to talk about this type of stuff this weekend. And so consciousness, I hope. By the way, if you go on YouTube, you can watch that video that was removed. Obviously, the Roman conspiracy to invent Jesus is the title. So you can also view that. Because if you look at this video and the previous one, then you view it to make the link between Yeshua, whom we call Joshua, with Jesus. And that's why I made this video, so you can have some understanding. And so with this said, probably I'll see you tomorrow, or if not Sunday. And so do take care of yourselves, and peace.